The sitcom, Amen, brought laughter and joy to audiences in its heyday, but the real-life stories of its cast have unfolded with dramatic turns. From career highs to devastating setbacks caused by unforeseen accidents, their lives are a testament to the unpredictable nature of fame and fortune. As we step into 2025, we take a closer look at where these stars are now. What challenges have they faced? How have they overcome them? Join us as we delve into the triumphs, heartbreaks, and enduring resilience of the Amen cast, uncovering the untold stories behind the smiles that once lit up our screens.
Survival of the fittest, man against nature.
Sherman Hemsley, who played the sly and scheming Deacon Ernest Fry, was 48 years old when Amen premiered in 1986. His performance as the quick-talking, morally flexible Deacon brought both humor and heart to the show. Yet behind his vibrant character, Hemsley's personal life was marred by solitude. Never married, he lived most of his adult life without a public romantic partner, sparking rumors and speculation he never addressed. His estrangement from his siblings, caused by bitter disputes over money and inheritance, left him increasingly isolated in his later years. Post-Amen, his career stalled. He struggled to land significant roles and often felt pigeonholed by his iconic character. He spent his final years reclusive, haunted by regret over lost opportunities and broken family ties. He died alone at his home in El Paso, Texas, on July 24, 2012, from complications related to lung cancer at the age of 74. Disputes over his will dragged on for years, further tarnishing his legacy. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated at $500,000, most of which was consumed by legal fees and debts. Roz Ryan, portraying the boisterous and loving Amelia Heatbrink, was just 34 when Amen debuted. Her character was the more outspoken of the Heatbrink sisters, offering sharp wit and comic timing. Though her post-Amen career remained steady with voice acting and theater work, she faced a deeply painful personal life. Married to jazz musician Leano Grace in her 20s, the relationship dissolved within 5 years due to infidelity and drug use. They had 2 children, Shonda and Malik, but Malik tragically died of a heroin overdose in 1999, a loss Roz has never fully recovered from. Shonda, estranged from her mother for over a decade due to lingering childhood trauma, has lived abroad and seldom speaks publicly about their relationship. Despite continued work in the entertainment world, Roz has quietly battled depression and a heart condition. Now 72, she lives modestly in Detroit, Michigan, where she spends most of her days alone. Her estate is currently valued at around $800,000, primarily from past earnings and residuals. Barbara Montgomery, who brought a quiet, refined dignity to Caseyetta Heatbrink, was 47 when she joined Amen. Her character served as a soft-spoken foil to her sister Amelia. After Amen, Barbara retreated from television to focus on stage work, but roles were scarce and appreciation for older black actresses even scarcer. She endured a painfully silent divorce from her husband of 20 years, art professor Franklin Ellis, who left her for a much younger colleague. They had one daughter, Elise, who suffers from schizophrenia and has spent most of her adult life in assisted care. Montgomery's own health declined in the early 2000s, as she struggled with diabetes and vision loss. She moved into an assisted living facility in New Jersey by 2018, and has largely avoided public life since. Once a fierce advocate for black theater, she now lives in relative obscurity, reportedly disheartened by how quickly Hollywood forgot her. At 85, her estate is estimated at $300,000, with much of it spent on medical care and her daughter's treatment. Jester Hairston, who brought warmth and wisdom to the character Raleigh Forbes, was an astonishing 85 years old when Amen premiered. His portrayal of the church elder was grounded in gentle charm and deep authenticity, reflective of his real-life background in gospel music and spirituals. But off-screen, his life was shadowed by profound personal losses. His wife, Gladys, died in a car accident in 1956, and he never remarried. Their only son, Ronald, died of cancer in 1974. Jester poured himself into his work to escape grief, but by the 1990s, opportunities had faded and his health deteriorated. He spent his final years in a care home in Los Angeles, often visited by no one. Suffering from Alzheimer's and a failing heart, he passed away quietly on January 18, 2000, at the age of 98. Though respected by his peers, he died largely forgotten by the industry he helped shape. His estate, estimated at $150,000, was bequeathed to a distant niece, the last remaining relative in his once proud family line. Anna Maria Horsford, who played Thelma Fry, was 38 years old when Amen premiered in 1986. As the quick-witted, strong-willed daughter of Deacon Fry, she brought humor and heart to the series. Off-screen, Horsford's life was marked by quiet sorrow. After the show ended, her career faced steady decline, with occasional guest appearances unable to match her earlier fame. She married stage manager David Kellis in 1992, a union strained by infertility struggles and his eventual infidelity. They divorced in 2004, childless. She was later estranged from her two younger brothers following a bitter dispute over their late mother's estate. Battling depression, a car accident in 2008 left her with lingering pain and limited mobility. Though she returned to acting briefly, financial setbacks forced her to sell her home in 2015. In recent years, she has lived modestly in a small apartment in Pasadena, relying mostly on residuals and Social Security. She is currently 77 and spends her days volunteering at a local food bank, her fame long faded. Once a radiant star of sitcom television, Horsford's estate is now estimated at just $250,000. Elsa Raven, portraying Inga the stern yet lovable church secretary, was 58 when Amen began. Her performance was quirky and memorable, but typecasting and ageism stalled her career soon after. Despite a lifetime in acting, she never found another role that matched Inga's charm. Married briefly in the 1960s to playwright Henry Vandal, the union ended without children, and she remained single ever since. In her later years, she became a recluse, living with 7 cats in a rent-controlled Los Angeles apartment. Her sister, with whom she was once close, ceased contact in 1998 after a family inheritance feud. She battled early-onset dementia beginning in 2015 and was placed in a care home. Before her death on November 2, 2020, at the age of 91, she rarely received visitors and was largely forgotten by the industry. A quiet woman with an eccentric flair, her final years were marked by loneliness and regret. Her estate, diminished by medical costs, was estimated at just $100,000, mostly in antiques and memorabilia from her brief time on screen. Clifton Davis, in the role of Reverend Reuben Gregory, brought charm and dignity to the young minister trying to navigate the deacon's antics and Thelma's affections. He was 41 at the series' debut. Though his faith remained strong, his path through life was riddled with turmoil. After Amen, Davis struggled with addiction relapses and multiple failed ventures in gospel music. Married twice, first to singer and tailor and later to real estate broker Linda Becks, both relationships ended in divorce due to infidelity and long separations. He had 3 children, Cameron, Dylan, and Lisa, whom he rarely saw, citing a distant relationship caused by his career-driven lifestyle. He briefly served as a pastor but was dismissed after financial mismanagement allegations. In 2009, a minor stroke left him with speech issues, further hampering his comeback efforts. Now 80 years old, Davis lives in a modest assisted living facility in Orlando, supported in part by charitable donations from fans. Once a beacon of hope on TV, his current estate is estimated at $150,000. Largely diminished by legal fees and alimony. Bumper Robinson, who played the bright, enthusiastic Clarence during the final season, was only 12 when the show ended in 1990. Though he transitioned into a successful child voice actor, his teen years were fraught with substance abuse, and he was arrested twice for possession before turning 20. He married young, at 23, to makeup artist Felicia Dawn, but the couple divorced bitterly after 5 years, battling for custody of their only child, Jordan. He later fathered 2 more children, Max and Kai, with different partners, either relationship lasting more than a year. His strained ties with all 3 children have been public and painful. A motorcycle crash in 2014 left him with chronic leg pain and halted his already slowing career. Failed business ventures, including an acting school that folded within a year, drained his finances. Now 45, he lives in a rented condo in Burbank, occasionally appearing in indie films and voiceover roles, though the work is sporadic. Once a rising star, his estate has dwindled to around $75,000, his talent overshadowed by personal tragedy. Rosetta Lenoir, who played Leola Henderson Forrester, was 71 years old when she joined Amen in 1987, portraying the dignified and church-going mother of Thelma. Though beloved for her warmth on screen, Lenoir's off-screen life was often marked by silence and sorrow. Married young to jazz pianist Ernest Dupree, their union quickly deteriorated due to his alcoholism and infidelities. They divorced after 7 turbulent years, having raised 1 son, Marcus, who later battled drug addiction and estranged himself from the family. Lenoir devoted much of her post-Amen years to theater activism but quietly suffered financial troubles after investing in a failed Harlem Arts Center. She rarely spoke of her fractured relationship with her siblings or her decades-long struggle with arthritis, which left her in chronic pain. A fall in 1999 left her partially immobile, and she spent her final years in a modest care facility, far from the limelight she once knew. Lenoir passed away on March 17, 2002, at age 90 due to complications from pneumonia. Her estate was valued at approximately $150,000, with most of it left to art scholarships for underprivileged youth, her final attempt to leave behind a brighter legacy than the one she lived. James Avery, portraying Sergeant Michael Conrad in a brief but memorable guest role, was 41 when he appeared on Amen. Known for his authoritative voice and commanding presence, Avery was already a recognizable figure, but behind the confidence was a man burdened by emotional turbulence. Married to social worker Barbara Waters, their marriage of 18 years suffered under the weight of career demands and long separations. They had 1 daughter, Simone, whom Avery rarely saw due to filming schedules, a regret he carried deeply. Post-Amen, he enjoyed success but battled obesity and undiagnosed depression for decades. A near-fatal car accident in 2001 left him with limited mobility, further complicating his emotional state. The death of his estranged brother in 2005 led to a prolonged bout of grief and reclusion. Avery died on December 31, 2013, at age 68 due to complications from open-heart surgery. He was remembered for his kindness but also for a life privately marred by inner turmoil. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at approximately $1.3 million, much of which was left to his daughter and a foundation supporting mental health awareness among Black actors. Linnie Godfrey, in the role of Charmaine, brought humor and boldness to Amen when she was 33 years old. A vibrant performer with a rich singing voice, she captivated audiences, but her personal life was far less harmonious. After a whirlwind marriage to playwright Devon Hartwell in 1981, the couple had twin daughters, Zara and Zena. However, Hartwell left abruptly in 1990, citing creative differences and spiritual incompatibility. Godfrey never remarried. Struggling to balance motherhood and her waning career, she fell into financial hardship and took on odd voiceover jobs and regional theater work just to stay afloat. She became estranged from 1 daughter, who moved abroad and cut contact. A fire in 1999 destroyed much of her memorabilia and sent her into a long depression. Though still involved in the arts at 72, she lives modestly in a 1-bedroom rental in Allentown, Pennsylvania, mentoring youth while dealing with chronic back pain and diabetes. Once a rising star, she now survives on a mix of pensions and occasional grants. Her current estate is estimated at just $60,000, a stark contrast to the early promise her career once held. Ron Glass, who guest starred in Amen at age 41, was best known for his suave charm and introspective roles, but few knew the emotional weight he carried. Behind the glimmer of Hollywood success lay a man plagued by isolation and loss. Never married, Glass was once engaged to dancer Regina Hall in 1984, but she died tragically in a car crash months before their wedding. He never recovered. He fathered a son from a brief relationship in the 1990s but was never a part of the child's life, something he confessed in later interviews haunted him deeply. Glass also suffered from survivor's guilt after the 1994 Northridge earthquake, which killed several close friends and left his home severely damaged. He became reclusive, diving into Buddhism as a way to cope. Though he had sporadic TV roles, the sparkle of his earlier years dimmed with time. In his final years, he was cared for by a cousin and largely retreated from public life. Ron Glass died on November 25, 2016, at the age of 71 from respiratory failure. His estate, quietly managed and modestly invested, was estimated at $500,000, much of which was donated posthumously to Buddhist organizations and animal shelters. Alexander Folk, known for his guest appearance on Amen in 1987, was 40 years old at the time. He portrayed a troubled man, struggling with addiction and a turbulent personal life. His role resonated with many viewers, but his own life mirrored some of the chaos his character faced. Though his career started with promise, Folk soon found himself in a series of short-lived roles, never able to recapture the same magic as his appearance on Amen. His personal life was marred by a string of failed marriages, 3 in total, and 2 children, a son named Michael and a daughter named Sarah. He found little solace in family life, with his relationships often strained by his ongoing battle with substance abuse and periods of deep depression. The latter half of his career saw him take on smaller roles, often playing characters facing their own battles. Folk passed away in 2015 at the age of 68 from complications related to his long-standing health issues. His estate was modest, valued at around $500,000, largely due to the lack of major financial investments over the years. Jackie Harry, who appeared on Amen as a guest star in 1987 at the age of 31, brought her trademark comedic flair to the role. Known for her strong screen presence, she quickly became a beloved figure on TV. But behind the scenes, Harry's life was anything but easy. While her career thrived, with roles on 227 and beyond, her personal life was filled with heartbreak. She was married once to a man named Keith, a relationship that began with passion but ended in bitter divorce due to his infidelity. Harry was left to raise 2 children, a son, Jamal, and a daughter, Tiana, both of whom she struggled to balance between her hectic career and the pressures of motherhood. Her career peaked in the 1990s, but as the years wore on, she found fewer opportunities in mainstream television, leading to personal financial strain. Despite the setbacks, Jackie remained a vibrant figure, often seen attending events and mentoring younger actors. She is now 79 years old, enjoying retirement but dealing with the lasting impact of her tumultuous past. Her estimated estate stands at $1.5 million, a combination of her acting earnings and wise investments in real estate. Moody made a notable guest appearance on Amen in 1987 when she was 37, bringing depth and grace to her character. Though her time on the show was brief, she was known for her powerful presence in roles that dealt with deep emotional struggles. In her personal life, however, Moody faced similar challenges, particularly with relationships. She was married twice, first to fellow actor Raymond, a union that ended in divorce after several years. Her second marriage to David, a businessman, was marred by infidelity and ended in separation. Despite these setbacks, Lynn remained close with her 2 children, a son named Tyler and a daughter named Rachel. Her career had moments of success, but after her appearance on Amen, her roles became fewer, and she quietly faded from the public eye. Today, at 85, she lives a peaceful life away from the Hollywood spotlight, her acting career long behind her. She enjoys spending time with her grandchildren and reflecting on her past. Her estate is valued at $800,000, a modest sum that reflects her steady but unremarkable career earnings. Who is your favorite character from Amen? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.